Hi everyone and welcome back to the multiverse of 100 plus data science project series. In this video, I am going to discuss about the medicine recommender system using Python and machine learning. So let's have a look at the demo first. So this is a demo applications built by using Python and Flux. And if I click here and choose one medicine name from here, or otherwise I can type the medicine name from here. So if I type here, let's say paracetamol, so I can choose any paracetamol. Let's say choose the tablet one, and if I click this recommended medicines button, and it will recommend me the similar types of medicines based on my search. And if I click here to click to buy, and it will go to the website where I can buy this product. Well, and you can see here this is a product from the Pharma Easy. You can go and create one account on that, and after that you can add to cart the product. So in this video, I am going to making this full application from the skirts. So without any further ado, so har har Mahadev bolke start karte tutorial. Okay, so first thing first, I'm going to importing here the necessary library. Let's import here the pandas and as well as the numpy. So let's say import pandas as pd. Then as well as I'm going to import numpy as np. Well, so it's imported this library. And after that, what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to load the dataset from my working directory. So my dataset name is called medicine.csv. So for that, I can using here pd.read underscore csv, and inside there I'm giving the path of my CSV file, I mean my data set. So let's store it to a variable called data. So let's say data equal to pd dot read csv, data underscore csv, and having my CSV file name. So if we try to check in this one, let's say data dot head, and then you can see our full data set. Okay, with having we can also check the shape of the data set as well. But let's see how many features or how many column are available. So first one is called the index. It's not necessary. Then you have the drug name. Then you have the reasons and as well as the descriptions. Okay, that's mean descriptions and the reason is necessary here. And now based on the description, the reasons, you're going to recommend the drug name. Okay, also called the medicine name. So you can see a CN Gen topical 20 gram, a CN soap 75 gram. So this is a drug name or you can see the medicine name. So what I can do, we're going to selecting here one medicine name from here, and it will give you the recommendations, the similar types of medicine from our data set. Yeah, you can also see here the applications that actually see in the demo video, I mean the trailer. So you're going to building these full applications from the skirts. So but before that, it also doing some feature extractions in this part, and as well as apply here the machine learning algorithms. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to check in the shape of our data. So let's say data dot shape. So you can see here it having 9720 rows. It's called the rows, and 4 columns. I mean the features. So how many features? We have the 4 features. One is the index number, then drug name, reason, and the descriptions. Now let's checking that is there any null value or not in our data set. So how can I check that? You can check that, let's say df, or you can say data. Then we can using here sum, and it will give you the summation of the null value. So in our dataset, we haven't seen that it's don't having any null value in our dataset. Yeah, as well as we can also checking here the duplicate value. Okay, so what you can do, you can checking that, let's say data dot duplicated dot sum. Okay, dot sum. Okay, you can see it don't have any duplicated value as well. So if you have the missing value, so how can you handle them? Or is there any nan value in our data set? So you can handle like this way. Let's call data dot drop nan, and after that we can giving here in place equal to true. So this is how you can actually drop all of the column from your data set. So if you have the missing below, you can handle it various types. If you can drop the full of the columns from your data set. Other you can also input your data with having the mode or the mean based on my category, either numerical or the string or the object type of data. So in our data set, it don't have any nan value. So if you have the nan value, if you want to drop them, so you can drop this like this way, data dot drop name, and inside that you can giving here in place equal to true. So in place equal to true means it will replacing all of the things in our data set. So let's use here shift enter. It's not necessary, I think. Okay, now what I can do, let's check in the data descript. let's try to data dot describe. Okay, okay, that's not like that, describe. uh, okay, and you can see it having the count, it's showing the index number. Okay, now see why describe is not available on here. Why not? Because see drag name, these reasons, and as well as the description is nothing but a string. So you can't apply the describe method, okay, in your data set, because this describe is nothing but working on the numerical data. But I can also using here one technique, I mean one thing, for checking the data type of the all of the features or the columns them. So this is the index number, and this data type is nothing but integers, and all of them are the objects. Yeah, objects means it's nothing but any string. Okay. Now what I can do first, we're dealing with the descriptions. This description for our data set. So what I can do, I can simply go into using here data, and inside that I can giving here the description. Okay, what it can do, we can actually take in the description from our data set, and we can do some pre-processing on our data. Okay, so see, it's the description for the index number 0. It's called the mild to moderate acne, a spot, and a RAN 0.25% is a prescriptions medicines. Okay, so in our country, you have an applications called the DIMS. DIMS. You can also check on the Google Play Store. So this DIMS application is nothing but recommend you some kind of similar types of medicine. It actually recommend you in the same group. Let's say you were buying a product from the Escor. Okay, Escor. This is nothing but a brand in Bangladesh. Yeah, so based on that, or based on the chemical, or based on the productions, it will give you the some kind of similar types of actually medicine. Just like for the gastric, we can actually using the Max Pro. Okay, we can using the Max Pro. So you can also using here Saclo. Okay, Saclo in our country they actually use Saclo. Otherwise, you can also using the Phoenix. That's nothing but the medicine for the gastric. Okay, that actually use it here. So DIMS is nothing but one applications which can give you some kind of similar types of medicines. Okay, okay, with the chemical number. Okay, so this is how you're going to building that. So further, you need to also take the descriptions of the medicine, right? Which medicine is working for the which ones. So now we need to do the feature extraction inside our descriptions. Okay, so what I can do, see, first we're going to simply going to split all of the all of the word from the sentences. So for that we can using the lambda functions. So let's copy this out. Okay, so you can using here the apply, then we can using here the lambda functions for splitting. Okay, lambda. Okay, lambda. Okay, then we can simply going to using here x, and you can using x dot split. Okay, and we're simply going to split our data. Okay, I mean my data for the descriptions. So if I run in this ones, and this is, you can see it now converted into one list. It having a mild, to moderate, acne, a spot like that. Okay, see how it actually replacing all of the things. Okay, so now if I try to do the same thing, for the reasons, because we also have one reasons, right? So in the reason it having which reasons you are taking these medicines. So if I give it here, let's say reasons. Okay, yeah, you can see acne, you can see the acne. Now what I can do is simply going to combine this description and as well as the reasons. That's why you're simply going to making in a one single list and try to using the split functions. And after that, we can join this description and as well as the reasons. So what I can do, we can simply go into using here one thing. We can give it here the same thing or same names so that it can replace in our whole data set. So let's say reasons. And as well as we can use this same technique to replace with the description as well. Okay, so now if I'm trying to do this in the same line and just start it down, and if I going to paste it here in the same line, okay, list of this has no attribute called this split. Okay, because it's already imported. So let's try to run it from the first cell. Okay, now you can see error is gone. Why split is not available? Because you already convert them into the split in the kind of list. So that's why when I run in this shell again, and it will give me the errors. Okay, now if I try to check in my data, so let's say data dot head, And then you can see this region is converted into your list acne and also the descriptions. You can check in the tail of our data so that you can see the last one. Okay, so this is called the wound, the used for treating the words, used to soften the skin cells, used for scares, used for the wounds. Okay, this is nothing but the descriptions. So now what I can do, uh, we can simply do some more analysis of our data. See, in our data, if I checking these ones just for these descriptions, let's try to copy these ones. And okay, let's try to paste it here again and try to run the cell all. Okay, why run all? Then you can understand. Okay, see, I run all the shell here. See, in our data set, when you actually convert them into the list using a split functions or a split method, see some blank space is coming up. This blank space, blank space, this blank space, this blank space, this blank space. So which one is not necessary? Which one is not necessary for the building the machine learning model, or if you are using the cosine similarity on this recommendation system? Because you're going to be building here one content based recommendation system, so that's why yeah, you can using the cosine similarity. But this space is not required. This space is not required. So what I can do, we can simply go to replace them. We can replace them. So for replacing, I can using here the same thing. Okay, I can using here the lambda functions, but instead of the splitting, so what I can do, we can replace it. We can replace it. So we can replacing it the full methods. So let's taking it for my whole of my list. So further, I need to having one list. Sorry, I have to one using one for loop. So let's say for I in X. So inside this X, what I have all of the list because this is the X I actually initialize here. Now inside this X, we have all of the data in a form of the list. Now from that, what I can do is simply going to replace. That's I dot replace, and from that you can replace all of the blank space value with which one, with normal value. I mean with not blank. I mean a space to not a space like that. So it's simply going to replace it lambda and I dot replace, and you can using here the lambda method functions. Okay. So further into also using here this this parenthesis on here and try to remove it from here. Okay. Now if I'm trying to apply it in our whole data set, I mean our description as well. So what I can do, we can simply going to use it, and inside the description, what we have the replace of our data. So if I try to shift enter and try to checking my data of the descriptions, as to write description, then you can see the space is hope to replaces, okay, this space of the data. If I try to using this once again, just better we can replace it here. Okay, and try to using here data dot head. Yeah, you can see it internally actually remove this space. Okay, internally actually remove this space. So now what I can do, it's not needed. We can cut this out. Why actually doing this one? Yeah, it internally actually replaces all of these spaces from our data set. Okay. So now what I can do, now we can join in these descriptions and as well as the reasons, because both are the list. So we can join them. So what I can do, we can simply going to copy this out, this data of the descriptions, and as well as what I can, we have the data dot reasons, these reasons. So you can copy this out and you can paste it here. Now that's our new data frame. Okay, so we can say new data like this. So that's our new data. So what I can do, you can check in this one's our new data. Okay, dot head, you can check in this way. Okay, I don't think the head is needed because it's just joining all of the things. So you can see it having a mild to moderate acne, spot, and also as acne. Okay, this is nothing but my new data, but the full data is already as it is my data. So now what I can do, now from this as it is data from my data, what I can do, I simply going to adding here my drug name, okay, and as well as the tags, as well as the tags. So this new data, inside this new data, what you have in this new data, we have the index number, this index number, as well as the drug name and this tag. So that means this new descriptions and the new data is considered as a tag. So what I can do, you can making it like this. Let's say data, from our data, we can consider in this one as a tag. Is that tax? Okay, that's all our tax. So we can replace it in our data. Now, if I'm trying to check in this about data, so let's say data dot head, then you can see here we have the tax, nothing but tax, because we're going to using the tax for the recommendation system. Now we need to creating here the new data frame. That's called the new data frame. So this new data frame is consisting of the sum of the row, sorry, sum of the columns. This column is nothing but my first one is called the index. So first one is called the index. Then second one, we have the drug name, this drug name. And third one is nothing but called tax. Okay, tax. So why tax? Because this reason and the description is not right now. And we're simply going to adding it inside my another features called the tax. So now this is our new data set. Now if I try to check in this one, this new data, and if I try to check in the head, and you can see how it look like. You have the index, the drug name, and the tax. Okay. Now what you can do, we can simply going to apply here one join functions to uh, join this tax with the blank space. So let's see what I'm talking about. That's a new data of df of the tax. So what I can do, you can simply going to apply here the lambda method, and you can using here x, and you can simply go to join it here dot join of the x. Okay, see what actually happened. See, we have the mild to moderate, okay, acne spot and the acne. Okay, then see what actually happening here. Just to wait, what I'm talking about actually tax. Okay, then this is how it look like, and if I try to check in the new data, then you can understand what actually happening here. Data dot head. Yeah, so you can see here now in this data set we have the list. You can see mild to moderate and having the list bracket as well as we simply going to remove in this bracket from the data. So you can see in the data we simply going to apply here on lambda functions, so which are taking all of the data from the list and try to joining it, and after that it will apply it inside. It will try to apply it in the whole data, and after that it can store it inside my tags. Now you can see our list is gone. Okay, now it's nothing but a simple text. It's nothing but simple text. Now what I can do, see it having some uppercase letter and as well as a lowercase letter. So it's better when you're building this recommendation system, our whole data should be converted in the lowercase letter. So we can using here the same thing. So we can copy this one, and after that we can paste it here, and instead of the join, so we can using here x dot lower. Okay. So now it's converted into the lower method, and you can see this mild is converted into lowercase letter. You can see this mild is capital and is now converted into lowercase letter. Okay. Now our data set feature structure, I mean all of the EDF part is completed. Now it's time to do the more interesting part, like the feature structure in the textual data. So for that, we're using the NLTK. So let's start importing here the NLTK. If you're not installing it, you can install it by using the pip command. That's the pip install NLTK. Now from NLTK dot steam dot porter, we're going to importing here the porter streamer. So porter steamer. Okay, and let's creating here an instance of that called porter in steamer. Just creating here an instance of that. Okay, if you want to learn about this porter streamer more, you can go on the Google and search about that, what is actually porter streamer in the NLTK and how it actually works. Okay, because I'm not going to show uh, waste here some time to just discussing about that, because I already discussed many more in our upcoming previous video as well. Okay, you can go on the Google and search for the what is the porter streamer in the analytical library. Okay, then after that I'm also going to importing here from sklearn dot feature extractions, because this is the feature extraction part, extraction dot text, and I'm going to importing here the count vectorizers. So count vectorizer. So yeah, same thing as well, as you can go on the Google and search for what is the count vectorizers and why it's needed. Because these are actual data, so you need to convert them into the vectorizer, right? So now let's create here an instance of that. Let's call cb equal to count vectorizers, and inside that I can giving here my stopwords. So stopwords, yeah, because you don't need it, the stopwords. So stopword is nothing but called the vowel, the consonant, or prepositions like this kind of word. It will try to remove them. Okay. Now let's give it the maximum number of features. So max features. So let's give it here the 5,000th. Okay. It's not my maximum features for my data. I mean, how many length of the word should be. Okay. So yeah, we have the count vectorizer and as well as the porter streamer. So now what I can do is simply going to define here functions, so which can actually help us to do the streaming of our data set. Okay, so let's call it stream, and which are taking one text, and after that we can simply go to taking all of the data from text dot split, I mean this text, and inside this text it having the word, I mean mild to moderate acne spot acne is nothing but one text. I am simply going to passing it inside my stem method, and which one is actually splitting, and after that you can simply going to append it inside a list. So let's creating here an empty list called y, and inside that I can using here y dot append, and I'm going to using here the steaming. That's a pt dot steam. Okay, then after that I can using here the I, this I. Now after that I need to also join it, right? So let's say return the join method dot join, and inside that I can using here the Y. Okay, so let's see what actually happening here. If I call in this stream, and let's say I am Mishu, okay, not like that. Let's say you are so beauty beautiful. Oh, beautiful, like that. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, hope so. The correct it is. Okay, and you can see you are so beautiful. Now you can see it's converting this beautiful. It's converting this beautiful to the beauty. That's mean this beautiful and the beauty word are mostly similar. What actually do? See, in our data set, some of the sentences are mostly similar. Just like the you are beauty and you are beautiful. Both are the same word. Both are the same word. So what it can do for the training purpose, so that it can don't take the space more for the space optimization purpose, what it can do, it can using this porter. I mean the porter streamer. So it can reduce the spaces so that it don't taking the time enough time for the training part. Okay, so it will convert in the same word into the beauty, so that we don't need to calculate the same word for the once more again. Okay, so that's why that's why we're actually using the port streamer, and this count vector is actually converting this data into the vectorial format. Okay, now what I can do is simply going to apply here in about 4 data set. So what I can do, you can using here in our new data. So let's say new data, and inside this new data we have the text that is passing it here. So you can using here same thing, that's called new data of the text, and after that I can apply here, because this is a method I can using the stream. Okay, that's it. Okay, now it will applying this streaming process in the whole data set. Now if I try to check in this one, new data dot head, then you can see it will converting this one. You can see this moderate is converted to the moderate. Okay, like this way. Okay, this acne is converted into the SCN. Cool. Now we can apply here same in our same data. We're going to apply here the count vector. Let's say using here the cb dot fit transform, and after that I can using here new data, and inside that I can passing here my text. Okay, and then it will converting here into the array. Then I'm going to check in the shape of that. Let's say check in the shape as well. So we convert the data. Okay, just going to passing here inside my count vector that is now converting the vectors. And for that, we can just going to checking here the shape of that. Okay, shape of that. So what I can do, let's assign it to the variable called vectors. Okay, that's our vectors. Okay, so for vectors, this shape is not needed, just for checking. Okay, we're checking that. Okay, the how the shape is look like. You can also checking like this way. That's a vector shape. You can also checking like this way. Fine. Now it will convert it, and now if I wanted checking that the features name, so we can using here get features name out, and if I using here as a method, then you can see how the features look like. So this is nothing but the features of my data. Okay, those are my what is available on my data set. Cool. Okay, so for building here the recommendation systems in the content base, so you're going to using here the cosine similarity. Okay, so cosine similarity is nothing but one axis, where in the all of the axis you have the data point. So which one is taking the distance based on the Euclidean method, and which one is similar, and it will give you the recommendation for that. So what you can do, let's try to import it. Let's say from sklearn dot matrix. Okay, matrix. Okay, and after that I am going to import it from the pairwise. So let's say pairwise. I'm going to importing here the cosine similarity. Righty wise similarity. Okay, so that's about cosine similarity. Now inside this cosine similarity, what I'm gonna do is simply going to pass here my vectors. Okay, pass here my vector, not this ones. Okay, copy these ones, and I'm going to paste it here the cosine similarity, and inside that I'm going to pass in my vectors. Okay, so it will give you some kind of vectors with the similarities score. Now let's start let's store it inside the variable called similarity, so which is needed for building here our applications. Okay, now inside the similarity we can first checking the first one. Let's check in the first one, and this is how the similarity could look like. It's having the 1 point. I mean, it look closely similar, and if it is the 0.25, maybe closely. If it is 0.08, it's not similarity as well. Okay, now what I can do now, I need to also now define here one recommendation function, which is really important. Okay, so let's try to get here all the recommendation functions. So let's say recommendation, and which one taking on medicine name. So let's say medicine. Okay, well, now from our data set we can getting here my medicine name. So let's say from my new data, because it's available as well as the new data, and as well as you can also checking for the data. Now from our new data, which medicine is coming, if it is equal or it is available in our data set, we can simply go into give me the recommendations based on the search, or which one is given by the users. So now from that, from the new data, so they're going to taking the drug name. So let's say drug name. Okay, so and should be capital, I hope so. Okay, then if it is equal to medicine, that's mean it's available in my data set. Then what I can do, I'm taking this index number of the 0, the first one. Okay, and I'm simply going to store it inside the medicine index, or you can say IDX, like that. So medicine index, you can say the medicine index or medicine IDX. That's making it index. Okay, medicine index. So you have the new data, and from the new data, if the drug's name is available, then we simply going to take in this index number. Well, now let's try to print it out. Let's say medicine index. Okay, let's taking one in medicine name. So let's taking this one, and after that, what I can do, I am simply going to shift enter, and after that I can call in this functions called recommendations. Okay, and I'm simply going to giving here my medicine name, and you can see index number is nothing but 0. If I go on the data set, then you can see index number is nothing but 0. I mean this one's cool. Now what I can do, when you get the index number, that means this medicine is available in my data set. So what I can do, we need to calculate the distance. We need to calculate the distance for the similar types of medicines. Similar types of medicine. So you can, what you can do, you can using this similarity, this similarity variables, this similarity that actually calculate, and inside that you can pass in here my medicine index method. So medicine index variables. Okay, so it will give me one distance. So it just give me one distance. Now based on the distance, what I can do, I'm going to calculate that which medicine is similar to the this medicines. Okay. Now we have the medicine list. So let's remove this one. Okay. Then we simply going to shorten it. We simply going to shorten this or the distance. So we can taking this and we can using the enumerate. Okay, we simply going to enumerate it, and after that you can list it, and after that you can shorten it so that you can see this one. So enumerate is nothing but based on my distance. So let's say distance based on my distance. Okay, so now based on the distance, what we can do, we simply going to short all of the values, and then we can making our reverse equal to true so that it can show in the ascending order, so descending order. And after that you can using here one key, so it is really important. So key is nothing but, let's use in the lambda function method again, and from that x dot x of the first one. Okay, and first one, taking the first one, and from the first one we're going to recommend here 1 to 6. I mean 5 medicine you're going to recommend here except one, first one. Okay, so that's our medicine list. So let's say medicine list. Okay, and now we can using here one for loop. So let's for I in medicine list, and after that we can print here from our data set. So let's say new data dot, we can using iLog method and taking the first index, taking the first index from the I. Okay, so from the I taking the first index, and after that we have the drug name. So drug name we can also using like this one. Okay, and you can see those are the drug name is based on this one. It's called the anthidab gel 15 mg, this acneutins, the acnine, the adapnil, the acne. Okay, I am not a pharmacist, so I don't have any knowledge about this drugs name. Okay, so let's copy this one, and let's try to copy and paste it here. Okay, my mama is also as well as a pharmacist. Okay, he know about that. Okay, and I can say this is the first one that actually based on that, and this is the acne gel 50. This is also soap, I mean it's also gels, the ointment, these gels. Okay, so it will give me the 5 recommendations with the dark name as well, so which one is I'm searching. Okay, so this is how actually working. So now what I can do, we need to saving here my medicine list, my data sets, not medicine list, actual data set, and as well as the similarity, so that I can using this my data, I mean feature structure data in our applications. Okay, so what I can do, I can using here the pickle. So let's import pickle, and after that I can using here pickle dot dump, and inside that I can using here my new data, I mean my data set. So in the from of the dictionary, so let's using here the dict, and after that I can using an open method, and then I can using here medicine dict. Okay, so let's using this one medicine dict, I mean my data frame in the from the dictionaries, and let's using the pickle, and after that I can using here the WB mode. So WP, okay, right mode, and I want to copy this one again, and after that we have the similarity. So that's called the similarity, I mean this ones. So I'm going to copy this ones and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, and that's our similarity dot pickle file. So let's copy this ones and I'm going to paste it here. Okay, I hope so it will save it inside my directory, and you can see medicine underscore dict.pickle file and similarity.pickle file. Okay, so this is how you can saving here our file. Okay, now what I'm gonna do, we're simply going to getting here the Flux applications for the recommendations. Okay, and this is the basic part that how it will actually work. Okay, so let's go on the VS Code and try to check that how the Flux application actually look like and how it actually work. Well, so that's our code called app.py. And for this case, we're going to be using the Flask framework. So let's try to first run in this code. And for this case, I'm going to using here the Visual Studio Code. You can also using here any kind of editor, just like the PyCharm. Okay. And this application is running in the local host, just like 127.0.0, like that. And also having a port. And you can see it's running up and down. And I'm simply going to clicking this link. So let's clicking the follow link and boom, and our application is running. So if I click here, and you can also search here names, I mean the medicine name. So let's select this one, and I'm going to click here to recommend medicines, and it will give me the recommendations for the SC gel, CL nano gel 15 gram, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will recommend me the medicines with these certs, okay, as well as these ones. If I click here to click to buy, let's I'm going to clicking here this ones, the product number 3, and click to buy, and it will go to the link where you can buy the product. And this is the medicine name called Acnelic soap 75 gram that you see in the applications. And here you can just click on here and you can buy from here. Okay. So now what I can do, I am simply go on the code. But before that, let's see the interface, how the interface look like, because you need to also designing it using the HTML. So we have one H1 tag, I mean medicine recommended system. That's my title, or you can see the header. Then we have type your medicine name, which alternative is to be recommended, and as well as on select box, which one having was search input text, and here if I give here any name, let's say paracetamol, okay, paracetamol, and you can see it will recommend medicines. So it having one input text, and as well as it's nothing but one drop down box. Okay. Then what you have, we have one button called the recommended medicines, and when you clicking this button, this recommended medicine for and the product or the medicine that I selected, and we have in one list which one having the recommended product or the medicines, and having one button called click to buy. If I click to buy, if I click this button called click to buy, and it will go to the one page where you can buy the product or the medicines. So now let's go on the code and try to understand that how it will actually work. Okay. Okay, that's our code, and I'm simply going to kill the terminals. See, this our app.py is nothing but my Python file, or you can see the server side file. And also inside that sections, you can see here I have a folder called the templates. And inside this template, I have an one index.html file, which one is nothing but for the designing of the interface. Okay. So what we have a title called the medicine recommender system. This is the title for the web page. Okay. And I link here my stack path. I mean, for this case, I'm going to using the bootstrap, and also we having some styling. Okay. So don't worry, you can get this index.html file and as well as the whole code in my GitHub repository. You can go and grab the code from here. Okay, so this is the code for the CSS, the simple code. Then what you have is this is the main things. We have in we're creating here a class called the container, and inside that you have in H1 tag, and inside you have the medicine recommender system. Well, medicine recommender system. Then we have one form, and inside this form we giving a method is called the post method. Okay. Then after that you have a class called the from group, and inside this from group we have in one text called type your medicine name, which alternate is to be recommended, that you can see in the website. Then you have one select tag, and inside the select tag we have the medicine, so which one we are going to selecting from our medicine list. So how you do the coding part, we having a term called list of the medicine. If I go on here and if I open in this Jupyter notebook file in my BS code, in the last how in actually saving this model file, so we already save our data site file as well. If I go, then if you can see, we already actually saving here our dataset file. So in our dataset file we have all of the list of the medicine. Okay. So that's why we're going to taking it this medicine name, we're going to taking this medicine name using the Jinja template from our server. Okay. So inside that we're going to take in this options and options value, because we're going to using here one input text, and after that we're going to take in this medicine name from the list, so that all of the medicine list should be the visibles in our applications. Then you're having a call button type, and here we are going to using here submit, because this is one from and the method is nothing but the post method. So when the user is clicking this recommend medicine button, it will give you the recommendations for the medicines. So this is the code for that. You can see the recommended and you can do show the recommended medicines for that. So it's better we can go on the app.py file because this ginger template code is related to this app.py file. Okay, so let's go on the app.py file and try to closing those one. Okay, say first actually import from Flask, importing here the Flask, the request module, I mean request method, you can say, and the render template. So render template is nothing but for rendering the template from the templates folder. See, if you don't have installing the Flux module before, it also installing this library using the pip command. Just pip install Flux. Okay. Then what you have, we import here the pickle because you need to saving. We already saving the model file in a pickle format. So you need to also loading this pickle format so that you can creating here these web applications. Then you import the pandas. Then you simply going to creating here one app using the flux underscore name. Then after that we have the medicine dict, I mean medicine dictionary. So which one already saved in medicine dict.pickle file, which one is nothing but one data set. Okay, or you can say data frame. Then after that you can taking it pd.data frame, and after that you can simply going to using here medicine dict. So why data frame? Actually, see, this is one data frame, new data, that's a data frame. So if you're trying to opening this once, you need to also running, you have to reading this file just like a pd.data frames. Okay, that's why you're importing here the pandas. Then you having a similarity, which one store all the similarity score for the medicines. Then you having the functions called recommend. We actually using making the same name in the recommendations in this here. Then what do you have? We have the drug name. We have the if it is equal to the medicines. Then we're taking this medicine index and we're simply going to passing it inside the similarity variables. And after that, we're having one medicine list. We're simply going to using here one for loop and try to taking all of the medicine list, and we're simply going to store it inside a list called the recommended medicine. This is the extra part. Okay, so this list having all of the medicine name. Now we're simply going to pass in this list inside our template file. In our template file called the index.html file. So that's why simply going to creating here our route, the basic route, and we're giving the method is called the get method and the post method. So we have one request. If the requested method is nothing but the post method. So if I open in this one, if it is post method, and it will go on here, and after that, what it can do, it can take in the name from this medicine levels. If I go on here, you can see have an ID and as well as the name. Okay, you can see the medicines. So medicine is taking the medicine. So I'll told you that why the medicine ID is actually happening here, because we're going to adding here the JavaScript as well. So that's why we're simply going to actually selecting it as the ID. Now it will taking this input based on this name attribute. So you have the medicines. So we're taking the medicine name and simply going to passing this medicine name, selected medicine name inside my recommend functions. So this is giving me the recommendation, 5 recommendations giving that. Okay. And after that, what I can do is simply going to pass in this data inside my render template. So you're passing him a template and as well as the medicines. You can say medicines, and he would give me the medicine names, okay, drug name, because this is a data frame, and we're taking the values. And the recommendations, we're going to give passing here my recommendations, and also selected medicine name is called the selected medicine name. See what are you passing here? We're passing the medicines and the recommendations, the selected medicine name. I mean, which medicine we are going to select it here. Then after that, we're simply going to creating the main method functions on that. See, we first passing here the medicines. That's been my all of the medicine name, which one I'm going to show it inside my drop down box. So here, if I go on here, you can see for medicine in medicine, because we're going to already passing it inside the ginger template method. Then from taking this one, we're simply going to store it and try to show it just like options that you see in the applications in the drop-down box. If I search in paracetamol, it will show the paracetamol, all the paracetamols. Okay, so this is for nothing but for the taking the input. Now this is for the recommendations. So if the recommendations, I mean, if the recommendation is coming, you can see recommendations. This recommendation is nothing but on list. It's nothing but on list, these recommendations. So if I go on here again, if the recommendations, I mean, if the recommendations happen, is the enable is coming from our server. So what I can do, we're simply going to creating here one H2 tag, and you're going to using that recommended medicine for and the selected medicine name. Which one is selected from here in our drop down box, and also giving here the selected medicine name called selected medicine name. This selected medicine will be passing here in our templates. That's why simply going to making the selected medicine name equal to none. Okay, because you need to also passing here in our index.html file. Cool. Now if it is recommended, it having certain medicine, so it's in a list. So it's simply going to be creating here one ul tag. Okay, then after that, you can just simply going to using here the list. Okay, and inside this list group, and we're simply going to using here some bootstrap class name, and inside the span tag, we can be using here the loop.index. So I mean, we have the index number called 1 2 3 4 5. That's my medicine name, and as well as the recommended medicines. Now this is nothing but for a click to buy. You can see I'm going to using here one link. So https pharmaeasy.in search all name, and in the name we're going to pass in my recommendations, my nothing but medicine names. So what it can name, it will target the blank, and class is nothing but the buttons. And if you click to buy, then it will go to the another tab, and you can also buy the product from here. Okay, now you can see we having one method called the medicines. Why this one? You can see we have one JavaScript code. So the document dot ready, or it calling a functions, jQuery method. So if the medicine is selected, okay, selected, then in the placeholder we can show that which medicine is selected, which medicine is actually selected. Okay, so from that we can select that which medicine selected. uh, that's why we're going to using the JavaScript on that. Okay, so that's the code for that, how it actually work and how it actually look like. So, and this is the full text structure. You have the app.py and the templates you have in the index.html file. So let's run the code from here, and you can see it will run in this application in my local server. I mean my local PC. You can also uh, upload it to the server, real-time server. So let's clicking and follow the link, and you can see it will loading the applications. And also on the one thing, make sure that your internet connection should be on, because it will loading here one link as well, so that you can buy the product. So you can say medicine recommendation system and type your medicine name, which alternate is to be recommended. Okay, so yeah, I know one thing, it's called paracetamol. Okay, and it's nothing but syrup, paracetamol BB22222. Let's using this syrup, and let's click in the recommended medicine. So recommended medicine for the paracetamol 1 to 5 mg, syrup 60 ml, paracetamol 50 mg, tablet 10s. Okay, so this is nothing but let's try to click to buy, and it's called this site can be researched. So let's connect the internet connections. Okay, so I am unable to connect here the internet connections because in my country it having some problem in the network connections. It is coming and that it's coming and gone. My broadband connection and as well as the mobile data having some problem in my country, based on the university students. So yeah, support our student as well. Okay, so now let's select here another medicines. You can also giving here the type the medicine names. Yeah, it is really working very fun, and you can see the medicine it will recommend it. You can just click here to buy, but in this case my internet connection is not working. That's why I can't show you the website with the names. Okay, yeah, you show it before. Okay, when I running this application for the first time. So this is how the applications look like and how it will actually work. So thanks for watching this full detail, and as well as pray for the Bangladeshi student who actually suffered, the University of Dhaka student, as well as my own university also go to the movement. Yeah, thank you, and I'll be back with another tutorial. So till then, take care and bye bye.